people. How are we doing tonight? Hello, 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 hello. How are we doing? Good evening, good evening, good evening. Wherever you're watching me from, would you type, can you hear me? If you can hear me, please just give a thumbs up, okay? If you can hear me, I'll just make sure that I am being heard and I am live on all my pages right now. So please, if you can hear me, ensure to give me a like or a thumbs up, because today we'll be sharing 3 strategic keys on how to make our 2026 a great year. So if you can hear me, please say a hi, give me a thumbs up, give me a like so that I know that I am live. You TikTok, can you hear me? Today we'll be sharing 3 strategic keys on how to make 2026 a successful year. So please, if you're joining me for the first time, ensure to like, share, and follow. YouTube, can you hear me? Facebook, can you hear me? Facebook, can you hear me? All right, so I think TikTok can hear me. Lovely. Okay, perfect. Is YouTube connected as well? Can someone check if YouTube is connected? All right, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Today I'll be sharing with you 3 keys on how to make your 2026 a successful year, on how to make it a better year than 2025, because a lot of times we set goals, but we are unable to achieve those goals. So today we'll see a few reasons why we set goals and we are unable to achieve them, and how we can then leverage on that in order to make 2026 a better year. So you're welcome on Building Bridges. Building Bridges is a page that I created in order to empower ambitious young women who want to get out of the normal, who want to change the narrative of their lives, who want to be more, who want to improve in multiple dimensions of their life, so that they can be trendsetters, so that they can as well influence and impact other lives. So if you're joining me for the first time, please ensure to like and share. But before I want us to deep dive into the reasons why people do not accomplish their goals, I would like us to kind of take a few minutes to reflect. Have we kind of reflected on how 2025 was as a whole, and what did we get? What feedback did we get from that reflection? Did we feel like we did our best? Did we feel like there is a lot that needs to improve? Or did we feel like we just didn't do anything and we have to start from scratch? So please ensure you're liking the video, ensure you're sharing, ensure you're letting someone know that we are live before we deep dive into the subject matter of the day. So in order for us to reflect about how 2025 was, it's good that we ask ourselves a few questions. Please do like and share. Ask yourself what went right in area of your business. Maybe you're a student in your academics, in your financial life, in your career. Maybe you had set yourself career goals, you had set yourself business goals, financial goals, family goals, relationship goals. Ask yourself what went right, what didn't really work very well. Then why didn't it work? If there are certain aspects of your life or certain areas where you set goals and they didn't work very well, ask yourself what didn't work right or what went wrong. Where did I miss it? Ask yourself, why did I not accomplish the goal the way I had set it at the start or at the end of the previous year? Then you want to as well ask yourself, who can help me? You want to be able to know in amongst the people that surround you, who are those that can help you? Who are those that can help you make an impact? Who are those that can help you to make 2026 a better year? Because 2025 didn't work so well, you want to ensure that those that you have on your team are people that can help you to make 2026 better. So I have done a few sessions on goal settings already. If you haven't had the opportunity to be part of any yet, ensure to go to my YouTube page, Building Bridges with Annabelle. You would find a lot of resources on goal setting, and they are so simple and easy for everyone to use. So for us to now dive into the core reason why we are here today, I talked about 3 key strategies or 3 tools that we want to have in our toolbox in order to make 2026 better. So if you see that I'm looking at other screens, it's because I'm connected on more than one device at a time. So the first thing I want us to look at when we want to make 2026 better or greater is our mindset. We know that our mindset shapes the way we respond to situations, the way we interpret things, the way our beliefs are fashioned is due to the way our mindset works. So how our life experiences affects us, how we feel and how we respond to all of those actions or those things that have happened in our lives is because of the way our mindset works. So a lot of times you hear people say that our mindset or our thoughts are ignited by our feelings. So what you think about will our feelings are ignited by our thoughts. So what you think about will ignite a certain feeling in you, and then it'll either push you to take action or not to take action. So ensure that when you're thinking about something, it's either a very positive thought or it's in alignment with what you want to accomplish. So take for instance, if you're a married person and all the time or maybe most times your husband comes late from work, and rather than thinking that he may be late from work because he was stuck in traffic, most times you think, oh, he might be cheating on me, or maybe he's seeing someone else. You see that your thought has already changed the way you feel towards him, because it might make you become bitter, it might make you become angry, or it might even make you not to enjoy your marriage anymore. Then your action might either be, you might start ignoring your husband, or you might start being rude or start fighting and all of those things. Whereas if you thought of it the other way, if you thought of it as, okay, my husband comes home late most days because he's stuck in traffic, or because he works really hard and he needs to finish some jobs before he gets home, you see that the way you feel towards your husband will be different. Your feeling will be different in the sense that you would want to give more, you want to offer more, you want to ensure that every time he comes home, he's well taken care of. And your action would be, oh darling, oh babe, how can I help you? What can I do to ensure that every time that you're home, you feel better, or you feel nice, you feel like this is home. So everything will completely change once you change your mindset, or you change the way you perceive, the way you look at things. And then in order for us really to ensure that 2026 is a better year, or is the best year yet, because going forward, if you apply this, your years or your days will be much better, is to ensure that you have a growth mindset. Having a growth mindset helps you see possibilities. It helps you embrace challenges. Whereas if all the time you have a fixed mindset, you always be reluctant to start things. You always feel like you're under pressure. You always be afraid to start new things. But I want us to define fear a very different way. So fear is false evidence appearing real. If you have this definition of fear, then you won't be afraid to dare, because you know that everything that you're scared of or everything you're afraid of is simply because it is something that is not real. It's just giving you an impression. So in order for us to achieve more in 2026, we have to avoid the fear of failure. Most times we are scared to fail. We are scared about what people will say. We are scared to be rejected. We are scared that we are not enough. Even when we do as much as we want, we are still scared that we are not giving in enough. And all these thoughts, as we continue to think about them, they don't help us to move forward. They don't help us to push for more. They don't help us to go for the bigger goals. They make us to remain mediocre. The second thing about our mindset is our beliefs. Our beliefs will either hold us back or propel us to the front. So think about it this way. If you're always thinking that you're not enough, you don't deserve to be happy, or you always think that you would fail, you're scared to take risk, then you won't be encouraged to do anything. You'll all the time be stuck, or you'll be limited to what you can do. You have limited possibilities, and this will it will reduce your confidence considerably. But if you look at yourself and say, I will go for it. If you tell yourself that I'm going to give in my best, I'll give in my best shot. No matter how or no matter where it lands, I know that I did my best. So YouTube, please, if you can hear me, give me a sign. I think I'm loud enough on Facebook. I can see a few people reacting there. So, yeah, YouTube, please let me know if you can hear me. And please, if you're on TikTok, ensure you're double tapping, you're sharing, and you're sending some roses. So, now that we have talked about our mindset, I want us to know that if we overdwell on the past, whether it's positive or it's negative, look at it this way. Maybe something very negative happened to you a few years ago. And rather than looking at it and learning from it, you look at it from the point that this thing has happened and it will continue. You look at it as if it's a pattern rather than looking at it as okay, it didn't work out, but I can try to evaluate the circumstances that made it not to work and then improve on it going forward. So always know that when you overdwell on a negative past, you hinder yourself from progressing. You hinder yourself. And it will most times lead to you being discouraged about something, or it will reduce your desire to push forward. Whereas if you're always dwelling on a positive past, most times this leads to pride. Look at it this way. Because you achieved maybe a gold medal in a race few years ago, you feel like you have attained it all. You no longer train. You just keep holding your medal around and making people know that you won the race, or you were first. You won the gold medal. It just leads you to pride. Excuse me, there I have a cold, so it leads you to be more complacent, rather than working harder to ensure that you keep on top of the trend, or you keep on top all the time. The second thing that I wanted to share with us is consistency. If you're consistent in your action, you're consistent in your ways, you're consistent in the way you do your things, you take them slowly. You see, they say slow but steady wins the race. When you go too fast, you might get tired. But if you go slowly, steadily, you see that you get to the top very, very quick. According to Israel, he says that consistency is the belt that fastens excellence in position. If you don't do it repeatedly, you will never excel at it. So he's trying to do it repeatedly. Most times I come to these live sessions because I want to be better at what I do. I just don't want to be good. I want to be better each time that I come. I want to ensure that the content that I'm sending out is better than the previous one. I want to ensure that my lighting, everything is positioned in a better way than the previous time. And that's how growth is. If you want to grow, you have to keep making progress, keep making adjustments. Please ensure to like and share the live so that more people will join us. So why should we even be consistent in the first place? Consistency helps us to build trust. I'll just mute one of my devices there so that it's not interfering with the sound all the time. All right, so consistency helps us build trust. It helps us develop our confidence. It helps us to be more disciplined. And discipline is one of the greatest keys that if you want to be able to achieve your goals in 2025, in 2026, you have to be disciplined. Have a routine. Maybe you want to set yourself a goal every night before you go to bed, but ensure that as you set your goal or as you go to bed, ensure that as you go to bed, you have goals that you have set for yourself for the next day. Never go to bed without goals for the previous day, because you will just be surviving as the days go by. Ensure that as in the middle of the evening, you try to evaluate your day. What are those important tasks that I set for myself? Did I accomplish them? How did I do? Do I need to improve them? What do I need to do to improve them? Who can help me? So always ask yourself those questions and continue to set yourself objectives on a daily basis, because that keeps you accountable to yourself, or it keeps you accountable if you have a coach. So in order to grow in consistency, there are a few keys I want to share with you. And the first one is to know your why. Why do I want to be consistent in my health goal? Why do I want to be consistent in my family goal, in my relationship goal, in my business goal, career goal, or even in my academics? Why do I want to be consistent? Do I want to be on the top of the class? Do I want to be amongst those that are setting the trend? Or do I just want to be a follower? So ask yourself questions. You want to also know, what goal do I want to be consistent at? Maybe it's your health goal, for instance. You want to ask yourself, why do I want to improve in this health goal? When you ask yourself the why for the health goal, it might be because you want to improve your health. It might be because you want to look fitter. It might be because you want to improve your overall mental and emotional well-being, or you want to have a better quality of sleep, or maybe you just want to look good, to look nice, a good quality of life overall. That's why you want to set yourself a health goal. Then ask yourself when. We are talking about 2026. You want to say maybe from January to December, or depending on whatever you want to set your whatever you want your objective to be as. You could say from the 1st of January to the 31st of December, I want to lose 20 pounds or 20 kilograms. Then you ask yourself how. Do you want to do that by exercising more often? Do you want to do that by maybe reducing the quantity and improving the quality of what you eat? Then the how. How do you want to do it? Is it through personal motivation? That's you exercise on your own, at your own pace, on your own time? Or do you want to get a personal trainer? Or do you want to get a gym membership? Please ensure that you're liking and you're sharing the live. So once you have asked yourself all these questions, then that's how you are able to really pen down the real goals that you want to set, because you have a clear objective of why you want to set that goal, how you want to set it, why you want to set it, when you want it to accomplish itself, because you have set a beginning date and an end date. By the 31st of December, I want to ensure that I have lost 20 pounds or 20 kilograms or 10 kilograms. Then you want to as well start small. Sometimes we are tempted when we are starting, that we just want to accomplish or we want to achieve everything at the same time. If you're a beginner, I won't advise doing too much at a time. I would say take it slowly and build upon it. Maybe for a start, you want to do a 15 minutes exercise daily, or maybe you want to do 20 minutes, and then from the big or large plate you used to have before, you're going to split it into a medium plate, then later on to a small plate. So take small, consistent actions, because sometimes when you overwhelm yourself with tasks, you see that you're unable to accomplish it. Not really because you can't, but simply because you feel really overwhelmed. You feel like you just can't do it. Whereas there is a capacity, there is that potential in you to be able to do it, but it's just because you're so overwhelmed with all the tasks that you're unable to do it on your own. So it's very important that when you want to be consistent, when you want to accomplish more, you ensure that you are doing it step by step. You're taking it one day at a time and making sure that you are achieving the goals that you set for yourself. So please, start small. It might be stressful, but once you start small and you build upon it, you see that those little steps that you keep doing on a daily basis, they compound to a very huge success at the end of the year. So the next thing about consistency is to be patient. Remember that everything it's always difficult from the beginning, but it gets easier. Imagine I can remember when I was a new mom, or when I was a mom for the first time. I was struggling really to catch up with everything. I was struggling to be able to give my best to the child, to be able to be a good wife, to be able to have a nice, clean, and well taken care of home, and even sometimes to be able to meet up with my own personal development goals. But because I knew that it was for a greater good, I was patient. I didn't overwhelm myself with tasks. I took it one step at a time, which one is much important and urgent at the moment. That's how I kind of cope during that season. So be patient with yourself. Take it slow. And if you need an accountability partner, find someone. You might want to have a coach, or you might have a buddy that you kind of work together, that you keep each other accountable. How am I doing today? What are the things that I need to improve? These are the goals we set ourselves for the week. This is how far I have gone, and this is what is left to be done. So be patient with yourself, but don't be complacent. Don't be complacent, because sometimes we can talk about patience, and rather than pushing ourselves to do more, we just decide to be complacent. We just decide that, okay, I think that I'm doing well. So we kind of slow down on what we could have easily gotten enough or gotten a lot out of. So point number 4 is to trust the process. The process never fails. To achieve a worldwide goal, you will have discomfort. It will need you to break free from your comfort zone. Imagine the times that you have to wake up maybe at 4 a.m., 3 a.m. because you need to study, or because you need to breastfeed the child, or because you need to do something before the child wakes up from sleep. All those times are worthwhile, but know that you will experience roadblocks. It won't be very smooth. It won't be smooth. But always think of it this way. Every time that you meet a roadblock, ensure to pause and ask yourself, what do I need to change? Or what can I do to make it better? Where did I go wrong? Where did I fail? And then you can be able to kind of find out how to improve and how to target that situation the next time that it comes your way. So maybe you're looking at or maybe you want to look at some of your habits. You're asking yourself, what habits do I have to let go of? Or what habits do I have to work on to ensure that my 2026 will be better? For instance, I always like to dwell on the health goal, because once you're healthy, everything else can fall into place. But if you aren't healthy, you'll be focused on what can I do? Like all the time, you'll be thinking about what to do to be healthy. But if you're healthy, then you can think of how to accomplish or how to achieve the other goals. So maybe for a healthy new habit that you want to adopt, maybe you want to look at your sleeping habits. You want to, maybe you're a smoker, you want to see, how do I get to quit this smoking? Or maybe you want to do regular checkups, because a lot of times when we talk about health, a lot of people do not look at doing regular checkups as important, whereas that's where you kind of discover what is not working right, or you see or you figure out the things that need to be worked on. So ensure that you're doing regular medical checkups, as much as you're exercising, you're feeding yourself properly, but you're doing your regular medical checkups to ensure that everything else is right in your body. Or maybe it's your business goal that you want to evaluate, and you're asking yourself, what can I do to improve? One advice that I always give is to seek a mentor. What area of your life do you want to improve in? If you want to be a better speaker, who are those speakers that you admire, that you like to be like them? Find them and follow them. If you have the means, register for coaching. If you want to be a better singer, who's the singer that you admire most? If you want to be a business person, in what particular field do you want to start your business in? Whatever field you want to start your business in, find someone who is already doing very well in that field. Follow them, pay for coaching or pay for mentoring, then replicate whatever they tell you. So once you have found a mentor, it's important that you follow the instructions they are giving you, because they have gone the way, they have made all the errors, and now they have the pathway to give it to you for free. Not for free because you're paying them, but they have the pathway which will make you to go through effortlessly. So ensure that as you get a mentor, you're following the instructions, you're following whatever they're telling you. Or maybe you want to look at other investment opportunities. You want to buy shares in a business, or you want to start your own business. How do you build capacity? How do you build yourself? So how do you build yourself to ensure that everything falls into place, or you achieve your goal how you want it by the end of the year? Then, to be consistent, we started with the mindset earlier, and I'm going to reiterate on the mindset. Have a growth mindset rather than a goal mindset. I know we're talking about goal setting for 2026. We all want to achieve our goals. We have all written down very beautiful goals. But if you don't think about growth rather than goals, you might not accomplish those goals. So I always suggest that it is very important to have a growth mindset. Think about growing, because when you think of growing, you'll be pushed to learn more. You'll be pushed to accomplish more. But when you think about the goal, you realize that once you achieve the goal, then you are stagnant or you're stuck. You stop because you feel confident, you feel comfortable that you have accomplished the goal. Whereas if you were a growth mindset focused person, as you grow, you would see that you accomplish the goal. So do not focus on your goal, but focus on growth. Because as they always say, growth is a process. No matter how much you try, if you're growing, you would see that you accomplish specific goals and even more. You accomplish them on time, and you'll be able to even accomplish very much more in a very little time. So ensure that rather than focusing on a goal, you're focusing on growth. I want to grow in the area of my business. I want to grow in the area of my academics. I want to grow in the area of my career. I want to grow in the area of my finances. In my family life, I want growth because I want a better relationship with my children. I want a better relationship with my spouse. In my relationship goals, I want to be able to know how to deal with my co-workers. I want to be able to know how to deal even with my in-laws, how to deal with my husband, how to deal with my children. Focus on growth rather than on a goal. Because once you focus on the goal, as you accomplish that goal, you're going to forget it. You're going to forget, like you will stop growing. But if you focus on growth, you would see that you will accomplish your goal and even more. Then the third key that I wanted to share with you tonight, first we've talked about our mindset. How do we look at things? From what perspective? How do we get to change the narrative of our thoughts and our feelings and our actions in order to accomplish our goals? Then we have talked about consistency, because we know that consistent little actions leads to a bigger success. So consistency, mindset, and then the third goal, which if you haven't been following, please ensure to grab your book and your pen, because the third goal is the most important goal for tonight. The third goal is purpose. When you want to accomplish your goals, you must be able to discover your purpose. Because if your purpose is not in alignment with the goals that you're setting, there is a high probability that you won't accomplish those goals. So the Oxford Dictionary describes or defines purpose as a reason why something was created. So as a human being, you want to be able to ask yourself, what is the reason why I was created? Please ensure that you're liking and you're sharing the live. So you want to ask yourself, what is the reason why I was created? Imagine right now I'm talking to different audiences. Some are watching me on YouTube, others are on Facebook and TikTok. I'm working on two different devices. So the person who created the phone that I'm using or the laptop that I'm using, he had an intent, he had a purpose for it. One of the purposes was for me to be able to go live or to be able to interact with you the way we are doing right now. And the other purpose really was for us to be able to make calls, for us to be able to play games. But as a human being, do we ever pause a minute to ask ourselves, what is my purpose? Why did my creator, or have we ever even reflected on who our creator is? Sometimes we think that our mothers who gave birth to us are our creators. If you've ever thought that, I used to think that before, but no, our parents are not our creators. They were just a channel through which God brought us on earth. So our creator is God. Do we ever pause for a moment to ask him, why did he create us? Why did he put us here on earth? And we all know that when we were born with a burden or with an assignment or with a mission that we have to accomplish here on earth. So ask yourself, what is that mission or what is that burden that God put on me that I should be able to accomplish while I am on earth? Because this earth, we are just passers. While you're here on earth, what's that burden that you need to accomplish. Because if you're unable to find out that reason why you were born or why you are on earth, then I'm afraid that you would live a very unfulfilling life. You would find yourself in a situation where you feel, sometimes you might even feel depressed, or sometimes you might feel like everyone else has gone ahead except you. But it's just because you haven't taken that time of reflection. You haven't taken that time to catch up with yourself and your creator to find out why he put you here on earth. So the third goal is ensure that the third key is to ensure that you know what your purpose on earth is. In Jeremiah 1 verse 5, it says, "Before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you and I set you apart." Therefore, God has destined each and every one of us for a specific reason here on earth. You want to be able to ask yourself, yeah, I'm setting these beautiful goals. I have set goals in so many areas of my life, but I still feel like an unaccomplished person. Why is that happening that way? It is simply because you are setting goals which are not in alignment with your purpose. Because when a goal is in alignment with your purpose, you realize that you are much more energized to accomplish that goal. When a goal is in alignment with your purpose, you are motivated. You really want to work to ensure that that goal is accomplished. So you may be asking yourself today, yes, I know that I need to work in my purpose, but how do I find my purpose? How do I discover what my purpose on earth is? I'm going to teach you a very simple method today of how to discover your purpose. And this, I'll call it the cross method. And the reason why I call it the cross method is because it looks like a cross. So if you just draw a cross in your book, and I'll explain why I call it the cross method, or why it is designed that way. The first thing is for you to look up. You know the way a cross goes from up? It's for you to look up to God. When you created me, what was that one thing that you wanted me to come on earth and accomplish? What was that thing that you wanted me to bring a difference to, or to make a difference to, when I'm here on earth? So if you're just joining, we're talking about how to discover your purpose, because it is one of the 3 key tools that I want us to take seriously as we march into 2026. Because if you don't discover your purpose, you will be stuck. You won't be encouraged. You won't be encouraged to accomplish your goals. So ensure that you know what your purpose is. Like I said, the first thing is for you to look up to God. You can fast, you can pray, you can seek spiritual guidance. You can read books. A lot of books have talked to us about how to read or how to discover your purpose. And if you're going down that journey, you need guidance, please, you can always reach out to me, and I'll suggest a few things that you can look out for. Then the second thing is to look inwards. When you're looking inwards, you're looking at what are those gifts that are in you. You're looking at those talents that God put in you at the time of creation. You're looking at your passions. You're looking at those things that you do so effortlessly. Excuse me. You're looking at those things that fascinate you. And you're also looking at those things that you can do without getting tired, or you can do them without feeling tired, without feeling hungry, without being paid for. What are those things that you can do, even if you're not being paid for them? For instance, this is one of the things I was born to do, to give knowledge, to share ideas. That's why I'm very down with a cold, but I said I'll come here and share with you these 3 keys. So you want to look at the talents you have, your gifts. You want to look at what fascinates you. You want to look at those things that you do effortlessly. Maybe you're great at singing, you're great at arts. What are those things that really keep you awake on a daily basis? And then you want to also look downwards at yourself. Pay attention to your emotions, especially your negative emotions. Maybe when you're walking down the streets in your neighborhood, you hate so much to see young people that are homeless. Or maybe you hate to see mothers, young mothers without a father or without someone to take care of their children. What is that thing that really annoys you every time you look at your community, your society, and that you think that you would be a good fit to bring a solution to? You want to also look at your frustrations. So when you're looking at your frustrations, there are those things that whenever you look at, you just feel like, I want to bring a change. You look at as well, you look at the moments in your life where you felt like this was a dark moment, but I learned a lesson through this time. When you look at all of those things, you write them down. Then finally, the 4th thing is seek for feedback around you. Those around you, what are they saying about you? Maybe they say you have wisdom in business, you have wisdom in finances, you have wisdom in storytelling. What are those areas where people give you positive feedback for, or they say that you're very good at, or people appreciate you? Maybe people appreciate you because you give them brilliant ideas, or you give them suggestions that changed their lives, or that it made them improve, that made them go from one point to another. Ask yourself that, how can I maybe monetize this? Because your purpose doesn't have to be something extraordinary for you to like it, or for you to make sense, for you to make use of it, but it's for you to find yourself within that purpose and be able to put yourself out there so that other people can see it, other people can learn from it, other people can want to become that thing, or people can see you and improve. People can see you, people can listen to you and make a change in their lives. So ask yourself, what are those life experiences which I have that I want to share with other people? So there is a quote that I wrote down. I'm going to try to read that for us, which I thought was very important, because it kind of summarizes a lot of what I've talked about purpose here. It says, the purpose of life is not to be happy, but to matter, to be productive, to be useful, to have it make some difference, that you lived at all, is by Leo Rustin. I thought that it just summarizes everything. Sometimes our purpose is not something that has to be extraordinary, but it is something that will make us to stand out. It's something that will make us feel excited. It will make us make a difference in the lives of others. And at the end of the day, our purpose is really not for us, it is for others. Like I said earlier, I have a very bad cold in the last few days, but I said to myself that I need to be out here because someone needs this information for that 2026 to be better. So, discovering your purpose is one step into making an impact in the lives of all those that are connected to you. So, once you discover your purpose, do not keep it, do not bottle it. Put yourself out there, ask questions, engage with other people, talk with people who need that information, people who need that knowledge, people who need all of what you have in you to be better, to be more. So if we have any questions, I might just go to my Facebook there to see if there are any questions, or if there are any takeaways. You might just want to drop them in the comments so that we know that you kind of had value out of this session. So please ensure that you are dropping your comments, you're dropping your questions. All right, so while waiting for questions, while waiting for comments, I would like to kind of give a few takeaways. Maybe you're just joining and you're wondering what's she talking about. So I was sharing today 3 keys that we need in order for 2026 to stand out for us. The first key I shared was our mindset, how our mindset impacts our emotions, and then it in turn impacts our actions. So the way you think about a situation, the thoughts, or the way you see a situation would definitely impact the way the outcome of that situation in your life. So try to think of things always from positive perspective and give it a meaning that will push you to go forward than the meaning that will push you to go backwards, or that will repel you from taking action. So the second thing that I shared was about consistency. We talked about why it is important for us to take consistent little actions to ensure that any goal that we have set is accomplished. Then finally, we shared about purpose. It is very important that all the goals that we set are in alignment with our purpose, because if it's not in alignment with our purpose, we see that we won't be able to accomplish the goal. And then I shared the 4-step method, which I call the cross method of discovering your purpose. I talked about first, looking up to God, asking questions, why He created you, what He wants you to do. Secondly, looking in within you, asking yourself, what are those gifts, those talents, those things that frustrates you, or what are those things that fascinates you? What are those things that keep you awake on a daily basis? Then I talked about looking downwards. When we are looking downwards, we are looking at our negative feelings. All those things that annoy us in the society, all those things that annoy us in the family, and we think we want to bring a change to. Then finally, I also talked about seeking feedback from people around us. When you listen to your friends, when you listen to people talk to you, what do they appreciate you about? What do they say you're good at? What do they say that they can pay you for? Because all of these counts for us to discover our purpose. So in order to wrap this up, I want to share a few takeaways with you. And the first one will be ensure that you are consistent in your action. You know what your purpose is. Prepare before opportunities come, because it's a proper preparation prevents poor performance. So in order for you to perform extraordinary in 2026, you have to prepare, and prepare now. Build capacity, learn new things, attend seminars, read books, find mentors. Don't wait to be inspired. Start small. You don't have to have a studio before you start a life like the one I am doing. In a few years, I'll be in a studio where it's set up only for my lives, but today I am starting from where I am with what I have. So start small and ensure that you are working on a daily basis to improve. You are taking feedback from people. You are open minded to learn, to ensure that what you're doing, you're on the right track. Then the third final takeaway that I'll leave you with tonight is to change, in order to change your life, you must change something you do daily. So what are those daily habits? We talked earlier about maybe our feeding habits, smoking, drinking, negative self-talk, procrastination, or maybe you spend your time on social media or watching TV. What are those habits that you have held on to in the last couple of years that you think that if you improved upon, 2026 will be better? Thank you so much for listening. I hope I brought some value to you. I hope these 3 keys, which are mindset, consistency, and purpose, I hope they are of benefit to you. I hope this really helped a great deal to you and you're going to put them into practice. But I want to ensure that 2026 will be a better year than 2025. So if you did learn something, please drop it in the comments. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments. If you have any worries and you believe that you want to have a one-on-one chat with myself, please drop me a message. You can drop me a message either on the platform you're watching, or you can email me on one of my emails on my main Facebook account. So I hope this was valuable to you. If you did learn, if you did enjoy it, please ensure to share one takeaway with me. Ensure to drop it in as a comment. Ensure to share this live with someone so that they come and listen and they learn, because I believe it's all about learning and putting into practice what we learn. So thank you so much for your time. I hope to see you again in another live, and we might be talking about something more interesting than this, but I look forward to seeing you again. And mind yourself. Have a happy new year ahead. See you very soon. Bye bye.